We snuck up on everybody, Pat. We went in with a silent intro.
Yep. Silent killer.
People home and just stunned. Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Yes. Same to you. Same to you.
And I was just telling you earlier that I decided to take the doors off the cabinets in my travel trailer and paint them. And I'm painting the first one and thinking, God, what made me decide I wanted to do this?
It's one of those projects that you start and you're like, really?
I mean, yeah, they're all spread out, and I'm like, oh man, I just don't want to be doing this. But well, welcome everybody. Be sure today, if you smash that like button, you get better cell phone reception, and it instantly goes to 5 bars. Try it; it's amazing. And if you smash the dislike button, same thing. So. It's, we just like to be there. I want to remind everybody too, somebody asked me the other day, what part of town do you working in the Valley here? And well, here it is. And it's pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
From Anthem to Maricopa out to Queen Creek, Santan, up here in Buckeye. Obviously the majority right here in the middle, pretty much split between the Phoenix Valley and the East Valley. It's funny that one of my friends, son his house up here in the New River a few years ago. And I lived down here, and he had a pit bull named Ruby, I think was the name. No, Pearl. And so if they had a house showing and they weren't home, I had to drive an hour and 20 minutes to get up to their place, about an hour and 15, something like that, to babysit Pearl because he liked to bark. And it would seem intimidating. And she was just the sweetest old fat dog. But, every time they had a listing and they weren't home in the car or showing, I'd have to go in the car, go all the way up to New River and pet Pearl, sit in the backyard, pet the dog. So guess what? Today we have 7,982 homes. We're almost there at that magic 8,000. It's maybe 30 homes ahead of last week so far. We had 4,036 homes come on the market with 3,736 go under contract. That's a difference of 300. It's kind of been that way for a couple of weeks, kind of staying the same. Crawford report alludes to.
Can I ask you jump in real quick? What was the low? What was the ultimate for reference? What was the ultimate low? Just for reference point.
As far as which number?
You mean against the 7,000, 7 or 8,000? What the total? That number?
The gap, you mean?
Yeah. Or just the total? Yeah. Well, is there?
Well, we're sitting here at 3736 as far as sales.
Sales. Yes, nothing's changed.
Let's see. Let's scroll through here together and see what I come up with. We've got here's 3381. That's in September. 3375. That was pretty low. I think 33 was about the bottom.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just curious.
So in the 4,000, 4,100, it kind of seems to be standard. We just kind of seem to be hanging in there. And I have a video, link to a video that I did this week. It's in the the body below about what could possibly go wrong. And, there's things out there. And so I kind of talk about it. And then I kind of end the video too, that, what can go wrong in your personal transaction? What should you watch out for? Because that can get kind of squirrely. But the Crawford report, as you know, comes out with this the Crawford Market Index. And rather than bore anybody through that, before I get that, I want to ask you a question. What do you think of the Zillow news? They stopped buying homes temporarily, they said.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to think about that. I don't know. I mean, I really don't have honestly, I really don't. It just kind of, there obviously is a reason behind it.
Yeah, but I think
that's a stupid, response. But I mean, before in the last couple of months, they've been buying stuff over price. Right. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Oh, did I lose you? Huh? I think I lost your sound.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there. Oh,
mic for some reason. So that's I hit the button somehow. I think it's a big nothing burger. It cracked me up. YouTube was just filling up with Zillow stops buying home, crashes near. The reality is, and the Cromford report alludes to it here in saying that the market's cooling, but very slowly. Prices are still on the long-term upward trend. And now that the third quarter's over, we can expect a resumption to home price appreciation. Said you would deduce this by looking at Zillow listings because so many of them are showing large price cuts. Here's the kicker. However, this is due to them being purchased at more than market value for reasons we cannot explain.
Mm-hmm.
Open Door also paid more, and you alluded to this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And said, but they're doing a buy and hold strategy. But I looked up some yesterday, and they're dumping them like $40,000, and it doesn't make sense. Richie says, are there going to be enough homes for TC? Oh, that's that big
the Taiwan chip manufacturer.
There could be. It's going to take them at least 2 years to build that thing, and the permits are way up in that part of town.
There's builders that are building up in that area. Yeah, there's a lot of, and the nice thing is they're not as, I don't believe, I mean, I get up there once in a while, but they're definitely, correct me if I'm wrong, you probably know that area a little bit better, but they're not as landlocked. They got room to move.
Yeah, there's definitely room to move up there. A lot of development.
You got Anthem up there.
Well, getting back to Zillow for just a second, they only have 252 homes on the market right now, and they're discounting them. And so they came in and they bought too high, which is funny to me because this is, Zillow is famous for its brand, right? I mean, everybody knows. So when they make a move, it makes big news, even though the number that we're dealing with them in Arizona, as far as sales, is so tiny. I describe it as Nordstrom's leaving the mall. It doesn't mean we no longer have enough clothes. It's a big deal.
Good analogy.
50 homes. And so they overpaid, and then they jacked the price up. And guess what? It's what we've been talking about, which we call shooting for the moon. It didn't work. They're saying that they're pausing because they can't find materials or labor. But why is that a problem for Open Door? Not a problem for Open Door. So it's going to be interesting to watch, but I think it doesn't affect our business here one iota.
No. People I've seen people freak out about it. I'm like, it's kind of like in your business, or my business, like your business. Let's say there's one big office of Keller Williams that shut down or moved. All right.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. Who cares?
Who cares?
Like, oh my God, you hear the big producer from Keller Williams is no longer in the business or going, it's like.
Happens all the time. But it's a big deal when Zillow does it because they announced it nationally and they're such a popular brand.
Yeah.
And, they make 74% of their income comes from real estate agents advertising on their platform. So
yeah. Carlos
asking a question, should I do a new build and flip it, sell it after I close on the house? I'm okay paying income taxes on the capital gains. There's people doing that, Carlos. We're seeing somebody made a comment in North Idaho that said that they're seeing for sale signs inside of new construction homes as soon as they're done. It's risky, but people are doing it. Here's what we're seeing: an average list price per square foot. Notice here on the peak was right here in April and May and June. See that? That's 314, and now we're at 309. So we're seeing pricing leveling off, still considerably higher than previous years, but it's not spiking up like it was. So there is some cooling going on, but it's, and we allude to this. I talk about this a little bit in the video I did earlier about what could possibly go wrong. We've reached that wall of affordability, and we're seeing this. This is the University of Michigan consumer sentiment. We're down here in the toilet again.
Yeah, they were saying
that time we were down there was November 2013.
Yep. I mean, they were saying that this one survey, I can't remember what it was on. I mean, I'm listening. So I heard it was at 46% of the people out there are surveyed say they see the economy getting worse down the road. Well, it was the highest it's been in like 13 years. But it's not. You got to also think about this too. It's not just the affordability in homes, but I think you see that. You go back to that last chart. Can you go back to that last chart? That you were at with the 4 lines. Can you go back to that last one? You had the 4, the 19, all the years of different square foot. Yeah. I mean, what year the peak was? When was the peak? The peak there, it was peak,
June. Let's see. It was 314. Yeah. So it's last week of May.
You take the average. Okay. Let's just figure this out. It's not really, if homes have been, still creeping along from a price standpoint, price increase, they're obviously pulling back. Well, what's the biggest thing? Families are looking now. I mean, it's pretty simple to figure out. Things are going to back off a little bit because you got Joe and Mary Smith who are looking to buy a home, but they're looking at their food bill that just went up $200, $300, $400, $500 a month. Their gas bill, their gas that they put in the truck, about another $100, $200, whatever. They probably had an increase about anywhere, of 500. I'm just throwing this number out. It's obviously nothing empirical, but the family of 4 has probably had an increase in costs of 500 to maybe 800,000 bucks a month.
Well, I would agree, and that's going to really hurt. I mean, you're getting dinged on affordability of the price of homes, and now we're getting it on the backside of what we were told was probably just temporary inflation. It looks like it's digging in. I don't know.
Well, remember, I called you that, and I remember I told you when they said transitory right away. I said I called bluff on that right away. I said, that's crap. Inflation you don't turn on and off inflation like the lights. I mean, once it's there, it's got cropped in, and
and I've got a restaurants interest rate chart here. I want to ask you a question on too in a second about inflation. But Melissa's saying we know homes are for sale in the Metro Valley, but did you see an influx of buyers moving into Arizona? We're seeing. I mean, you look at the migration charts. I've got a article here about Mesa that I'll show you, and I think Melissa, that might kind of you're aware of it too, being a commercial real estate person. But this one, Pat, is curious to me. So they're saying before the Fed hikes rates, it must be all the way done buying treasuries and mortgage-backed securities. They're starting to slowly back off, but this article is saying that the fact that they're backing off is already kind of getting baked into the cake on the bond market.
Yeah, I mean,
2013, this is a taper tantrum right there, right?
Yep.
So they backed off really hard, and the bond market just went bonkers. Or is this, what is this? This is treasuries. But a comment, and this is what I wanted to ask you about. It says, we know the rates, we know they're going to back off. We know it's coming. But they made a comment that said, but past precedent suggests that rates are certainly capable of falling the very moment the Fed removes accommodation. What do you think of that? In other words, they're saying they're going to do it. Well, when they actually do it, rates are capable of coming down.
Well, that happens all the time because they everything you buy before, sell after the fact. I mean, the pressure on rates is knowing that they're going to taper, but once it's like a stock. It's like a stock, when a stock starts moving up, there's always somebody that knows something. When you see a movement in a stock, but when the news is announced, it'll back off. I mean, it's when
buy on rumors, sell on fact.
Right? Buy on rumors, sell on fact. But the thing of it is, people don't realize, we've been talking about this taper the last couple months. Like I said, and when it happened last time, it was like a shock. It's like my dad passing away from cancer. He had cancer back in June, and he passed away last week. It wasn't a shock to me. I knew he was going to die, but if I was basically mentally prepared to, see him pass away versus him. If I found him dead on the kitchen floor of a heart attack, that would have been even a bigger shock. You get kind of liking it. I mean, it's kind of maybe a morbid way to look at it, but that's kind of a way to look at it with the rates. Yeah. And they've been talking about this taper. So once it happens, it's like, yeah, okay. It's just that.
Yeah,
I think that's
coming. We already priced it in.
They already priced it in. So, I mean, that's where, rates with inflation, they're saying now, the November 3rd, there's gonna be a taper announcement basically. But the thing of it is they're going to keep buying these mortgage. It's not like they're going to stop buying mortgage-backed security market. What they're basically going to do is going to pull back. Right now, they're buying about 100 to 110 billion a month. But they said now they're going to, with this taper, they're probably tapered down to 30 to 40 or, like say 50 billion a month, basically cut in half.
We won't even feel that.
Yeah. And then the thing of it is that there's less supply for them to buy because there's less refinance. Say the rates have gone up a little bit. This is there's a lot of moving parts, but with rates going up, people are not refinancing as fast. They're saying refinances are cut from like 2 trillion down to like 600 billion, 700 billion. So with people refinancing, those mortgage-backed securities are not going to be in the market to buy. So there's going to be less supply for the Feds to buy anyway with rates moving up. So it's like it kind of counterbalances it. But like I said, they're still going to be buying. It's been said that they're still going to be buying about 50 to 60 billion a month. And also when people do refinance, they have to take that money and basically reinvest it. They keep buying more. So it's not like they're going to go from 100. A lot of people say, oh, they're going to stop. The taper. They think they're going to go from 100 billion to zero and stop. They never will stop. I mean, they'll never stop. They'll just, they'll move the rate. But so that's kind of the gist of it.
Well, they're dug in like a tick now anyway, and they can't stop. So it's there's a lot of interesting moving parts going on when you start looking at the inflation picture and this incredibly ridiculous supply side mess that we've gotten ourselves into. It's one of the things that the Crawford report alluded to here was, and they said, let's see, something about, however, the picture could change if investors become less enthusiastic. At the moment, residential real estate is seen as a relatively safe place to park excess capital. So funds are flowing towards the purchase of homes as an investment. So there's no place to park your money right now. You got the stock market, you got the real estate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and so we're going to see, we're muddling along with investors kind of keeping those sales going and, unfortunately pricing some people out.
Well, but like I said, I think the inflation, we have to keep an eye, the inflation because, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think, that is really good. That's probably tapping down people. Like you said, I mean, if you and your wife are looking at a house, you're like, yeah, we want to buy this house, but then all of a sudden you're looking at your monthly outflow, and like I said, it's changed, and it did. I mean, it's changed pretty quickly. It seems like I went to Costco, that package of bacon that you buy, that pre-baked bacon.
Yeah,
it was $11.50, 6-7 months ago. I almost crapped my pants. I bought one the other day. It was $19.50. Went from $11.50 to $19.50. Almost.
Maybe that's why my doctor told me to quit eating bacon. So
yeah, I mean, it's just like, but you think about it, that's going to take a toll on the average family that's looking to buy a house. Like I said, their expenses are, the people that budget, they're like, okay, we all of a sudden our monthly, our butt nut has gone up an extra $500 to $1,000, and people are going to pull back based on that uncertainty. When there's uncertainty, people are going to pull back pretty quick. They're like, you know what, let's rent. Let's keep renting for a while. Which is, I think this will be somewhat transitory, but I think it's going to be, like I said, back 6, 7, 8 months ago when they're calling transitory, I called their bluff and I said, no, this is going to be a lot longer. I mean, whatever they say, if they say 2 months, you can figure 6 to 8 or 9, 10 months. It's just not
I think we're going to be talking about this in,
we're going to end of next year,
2023. So,
yeah.
But I'm going to show you, this is a rendering out by the Gateway Airport out in East Mesa, out by Eastmark.
Mm-hmm.
And they're showing the amount of new businesses and stuff that will be coming up out there. And what the guy is saying in this article, I got it from the Phoenix News, land values over the past 2 years have gone absolutely crazy. Now it's been supercharged.
Huh.
And they're saying that Less than 3 miles from the airport, Facebook's planning an $800 million data center that'll include 2 buildings, 96,000 square feet.
Jesus.
One will be done by the end of 2023. And from an economic development perspective, even though data centers do not necessarily create a lot of permanent jobs, they represent a major investment that brings in tax dollars for local school districts. So this is an area that's very rare. And we talked about this the other day, this new sports complex.
Yeah.
But what they're saying is rare is that it's one of the few parts, especially in the state and in certain parts of the country, where you've got room to build around an airport.
Yeah.
There's just dirt out there. So,
yeah.
So that's why that area is going to explode.
Can you send me the article, by the way? Or?
Yeah, I can copy
okay. No, not now. Afterwards,
Fire that off.
Yeah, that area down there in South Mesa, because you got Mesa, the Mesa. That's, like you said, that the gentleman Tyler said about the Taiwan. There's the parts of the Phoenix. You got the north part. Like Peoria, Peoria, North Phoenix. And you got down here. You got the South Mesa. There's a plots of land down there, and you got everything's moving out obviously in Phoenix, but doesn't seem like it's slowing down.
Drive to qualify.
Yeah.
Tyler just make the comment here. I kind of wanted to go back to it. Going to be less houses for sale. It was easy to sell Zillow. Now you have to prep it yourself. If you're too busy or lazy, then you won't list it. I think there'll be some of that, but I think they're collectively they had purchased 1,300 homes between Open Door, OfferPad, and Zillow. But there's a huge amount of investors that can fill that void. Yeah. My phone goes off 3 times a day from investors. Rick, have you got anything for me? So if Zillow doesn't want to come in and buy it and pay cash for it and fix it up, trust me, there's so many investors out there willing to do it that it will happen.
No doubt.
But it's going to be fun to watch, for the next month or two to see what happens with that. And we're like beating a dead horse with those guys. But I had to chuckle at all the crash is coming. Here they come. And I just kind of looked at the numbers and go, I don't see it.
Yeah, I just thought of something. This is kind of funny how this our little, world podcast worldwide. Yeah.
I think we go all the way up to like almost Flagstaff.
I know, almost down to, just south of Casa Grande, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's amazing.
But it's kind of funny how the last year, if you think about, look at how we've kind of transformed, talking about the pandemic, the foreclosures, the forbearances. You see how kind of the cycle's kind of coming now. The forbearances probably aren't going to be, there's still supply. The sun looks like it's beating down on me. Sorry. But you had the forbearances. There's going to be such a crash because of foreclosures. Now we're not really talking about that the last couple of weeks. Now we're talking about inflation, how inflation is popping up now. It's like this rolling conversation. I just kind of thought about that, this rolling conversation from forbearances, foreclosures to now inflation. How is that going to, affect,
Yeah, so we just don't know. We just don't know where it's going to land. So again, it always rolls back to how many homes are for sale and how many homes are buying. How many people are buying them. If that's the first indication that something's going to change. Right now, we're barely seeing a move. However, if I look at trends, November and December are going to be tragically low levels of inventory because it is every year. It goes down by about 36%. You take where we're at today, Pat, you pump that down seasonally 36%. There's nothing out there.
Yeah.
We're 5,500, 6,000 homes. We're back to where we were when we were hoping things get better in 2020. And it may be temporary, but it also could exasperate things. So if you get down to where it's that low, 60% of sellers, potential sellers are saying they don't want to sell because they're afraid they can't buy anything. So if they're looking at November and December and seeing that there's just literally nothing to pick from, I don't think they're going to pull the trigger in January. So Tyler says if inflation stays or increases, might cause another spike in April and June. New builds are still over a year away.
I don't know what he means by spike. Spike in interest rates or I'm not sure.
I think so. Yeah, Tyler, let us know. Are you talking a spike in interest rates? Because
or spiking
because if inflation is really taking off, going like crazy, I think that's a real possibility. I mean,
But
I
see,
certainly went through it with Paul Volcker.
yeah, but you know what the thing of it is though too, like Barry Habib said on the mortgage.
Oh, he's saying house prices. You froze for some reason.
Did we lose? Okay.
Oh, now you're back. Okay.
Okay. But he's, but you got to also think of this way: if things get so out of whack, and that's why I love Econ 101. I mean, it's just amazing. When things start getting out of whack, they always kind of go back to the norm. I mean, there's always a supply demand fight. That's why I think the supply demand equation is the most powerful thing in the world. But Barry is saying that things get so out of whack that it might slow things down, and it's going to cause a projected recession in late 2022, 2023, which is he's forecasting rates to go down actually.
Yeah. So Stephen Van Meter. I mean, I don't see any numbers out there that are showing that the economy is going to recover here anytime soon, unfortunately. And then to answer Tyler's question, man, I've looked at so many charts to try and see how inflation affects housing prices, and it's not clear. It's, when we had the high inflation in the 80s, they actually, came down because of the
and they go up at
Feds and raising rates. So
and they go up in a recession.
Yeah, there's just there's no correlation. We can't figure it out. That's for greater minds than me.
So what's so frustrating? I mean, God, I mean, I just, being an econ guy, like I said, I thought econ was really, the flow of money, the velocity of money, how it flows and stuff. That's why I always kind of enjoyed watching, and what people's reaction to supply and demand. But you got look at unemployment. You got people. They said 4 million people quit their jobs. You got the people quitting their jobs because of mandates. I mean, you got inflation. I mean, it's just a lot of money. You got the government coming out and saying they're going to $1-2 trillion. It's just a weird time. It's hard to put your finger on anything specifically to say this is exactly what
my son works at Best Buy, and he said Black Friday is going to be pretty easy this year, and he's getting yelled at all the time. People treat clerks nice, come in and, I want to get the new Apple Watch. Well, we don't have it. Well, what do you mean you don't have it? Why not? Well, Apple
have you been watching the news?
Yeah. They just scream at them. Well, you've been no help, and they walk out. It's like, okay. Well, I can't make a phone call and go, hey, Apple, go get some more chips.
Yeah.
There's no cars either. You can't get cars. My brother's wife went into Walmart at Washington State, went to get some paint. They're out of paint. Everything's sitting in a ship off out at Long Beach. And the Florida governor says, we'll take them over here.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds great. They're going to have to go down through the Panama
Canal. Yep.
And you know how much it costs to take a ship through the Panama Canal?
A couple $100,000.
$450,000. So
I was gonna say 300 or 400. Yeah.
So that gets added onto your cost of goods. So in fact, it's taking longer to unload the boats now than it is to bring them from China to the United States, and that's a major problem.
My prediction is there's gonna be a run on gift cards. Just people are gonna be like, what? Screw it. I'm just gonna buy a gift card for Aunt Uncle Jim or my little niece and nephew. They can buy the crap later on,
Well, this may actually be the year that I buy my kids a lump of coal.
Yeah,
I always threaten it every year, and sometimes I've even wrapped them and put them under the tree. So,
I think gift cards are gonna be huge this year because I love gift cards. It's just like it takes the equation out.
Well, it's going to be an interesting time to watch. And so anytime we see any numbers update, we're going to throw them here.
Yep.
In the meantime, Pat, have a great weekend. And hey, I've still got some, I'll go get another brush if you want to come up and help with those cabinets.
God, I got to rearrange my sock drawer in 5 minutes. Sorry, buddy. I can't help you.
All right. I was going to buy you a beer, but
okay.
We'll talk to you later.
Have a good weekend, buddy. Take care. Have everyone. Bye-bye.